Beast Bailey back. I just made a video talking about the Mississippi State Georgia matchup. Well, I want to talk about some playoff here. I want to talk about the playoff. I want to talk about the playoff. Yes, the playoff. Let's see what we got. First and foremost, this has been a pretty good year for football. It's been a great year. The Dogs are playing phenomenal. Georgia's had really one game where really one game in that Missouri game. It was kind of a contest. Like, I go, man, is Georgia going to win this game? But they did, thankfully. However, let's go over the playoff poll last week. Number 1, Tennessee. 2, Ohio State. 3, Georgia. 4, Clemson. 5, Michigan. Alabama. 6, 7, TCU. 8, Oregon. 9, USC. 10, LSU. That was the top 10 last week, and Ole Miss was sitting 11th with UCLA 12th, Kansas State 13th, 14th Utah, 15th Penn State. I'm going to stop there. So pretty much that was your top 10 last week. They put Tennessee at number 1. Obviously people are making fun of it, like, why, people said before, why would you put Tennessee 1? Tennessee has a really good resume. They beat Florida when they were ranked. They beat Kentucky when they were ranked. Kentucky is ranked now again. They beat LSU. They beat Alabama. So Tennessee has a good resume. They are a good team, and they're more than likely going to go 11-1. Now, I would love for Missouri to beat them this Saturday. That would just be hilarious to me, because I would love for Missouri to beat them. That would completely knock them out of the playoff hopes. Because I'll be honest with you, I do not want Tennessee to make the playoff. I do not want to play them again. Even though I've seen some predictions of them playing in the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, which is one of the playoff games, is in Atlanta. So, that would be fine. Look, it's still a home game, so it's still a home game pretty much. So, if Tennessee makes it, I would rather them put them 3 and let them play either Ohio State or Michigan, and let Georgia play either TCU or Oregon in the first matchup. And that's all ifs. Georgia still has to win this Saturday against Mississippi State, and Georgia has to beat either LSU, Ole Miss, or Alabama, whoever's going to go for the West. Because, yes, there's still 3 games left, but there's a lot of football left to be played. There's still 3 weeks of football left that really are crucial. These last 3 weeks, there's a bunch. And really, it's normally not like this. A little scratch my nose. It's normally not like this where, really these last couple weeks, man, it's like everything comes down to the final month. The month of November this year is so crucial, and it's huge, man. The Pac-12 might beat themselves out of the playoff. The same with the Big 12. The ACC, I don't know if the ACC is going to make the playoff this year. Obviously, you've got 2 one-loss teams, Clemson and North Carolina. Both these teams lost to the same team, Notre Dame. Notre Dame to the playoff. Put Notre Dame in the ACC. Put them in the ACC. You might be surprised. Yeah, so North Carolina and Clemson they're both 8-1. They both lost to Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost to Stanford and Marshall. I can't explain it. Imagine if Notre Dame was sitting at 1 loss to Ohio State right now. They would be up there in the top 10 for sure. Imagine if Notre Dame was undefeated. That would be wild. They would probably if Notre Dame was undefeated right now, they'd be sitting in the top 5. That would be interesting for sure. All right. So obviously the playoff poll, my prediction, I will just show you. So I'll just show you this. I made this 3 days ago. Yeah, I made this 3 days ago, I think. I made this Saturday night at midnight or something. So I have Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Ohio State 3, 4 TCU, 5 Tennessee. To me, Michigan has just looked a little better than Ohio State. And I do believe Michigan will beat Ohio State. I know that game is at Ohio State. That's nothing. I don't care about the home field advantage in that game. If you cannot line up and on the line of scrimmage against Northwestern, how in the world are you going to do that against Michigan? I understand it was raining. It was raining in Athens in the Tennessee game. Go back and watch it. It started raining, and Georgia still just dominated the game. If you cannot own the line of the scrimmage, and if you cannot run the ball on Northwestern, you got some problems. Northwestern is 1-8. They haven't won a game since that game in Dublin, Ireland, back in August, the last week of August. They haven't won a game since then, and they beat Nebraska. Nebraska. So yeah. So until Michigan, Ohio State settle out, or Michigan loses a game or struggles immensely against a team, Michigan is going to stay at 2 for me. Ohio State 3. TCU will stay at 4 as long as they keep winning out. Why do I have a... Oh, I just seen this. I have a 1 beside Ohio State. This is my prediction for the final, like at the end of the season, so the regular season and whatever. So, yeah, so that's just what I think. LSU at 6. I think they put Oregon. They put Oregon at 6 and put LSU at 7. LSU, they're 7-2. They lost to Tennessee in a blowout, and they lost to Florida State in week 1. USC. For whatever reason, I have USC at 12-0. They have a loss. I don't know why. I made this at like 1 in the morning, so I was tired. Clemson 11-1. Alabama. Alabama was 9. Clemson 10. I don't know. And really, UCLA, they're sitting there with that 1 loss. UCLA is. If UCLA were to run the table and get a rematch and play whoever, in the Pac-12 title game, could UCLA make the run? There's 3 Pac-12 teams that are 8-1 right now. Oregon, UCLA, and USC. Now, USC and UCLA will play each other here in a little bit, in a couple of weeks. They're going to get that chance to bash it out. Oregon, however, is undefeated in Pac-12 play. And Oregon, really, ever since that first loss to Georgia, they've just been lights out. Dan Lanning's got it going on. Oregon, they're doing really good. And I think Oregon has a real good shot at making the playoff. So let's kind of go into this. So what conference right now, which Power 5 conference is least likely to make the playoff? Well, it's ACC. The ACC has the furthest ranked teams from the top. Clemson at 9. North Carolina is at 15 right now. And to be honest with you, I do think North Carolina will probably win out and be 11-1. And if North Carolina beats Clemson and goes 12-1 with the ACC title, I don't think that's going to be good enough to get them up there, because North Carolina doesn't have any ranked wins, I don't think. But it's just hard to really say. North Carolina's defense is bad, but their offense is a very, very good offense, and very legit offense too. The same thing with UCLA, and they're far back right now. UCLA is still outside the top 10. They go 11-1 and win the Pac-12. What does that mean? What is a 12-1 UCLA team? And really, I say all this because right now there are 2 teams that are up there in the top 5 that are not, one of them, 2 of them are not going to play for a conference championship. That's either going to be Michigan, Ohio State, one or the other, and Tennessee. These 2 teams are not playing for a conference title. Now, I can slow down. Tennessee will, only if Georgia loses both their SEC title games, SEC games left, and Tennessee wins out. That's the only way that's going to happen. LSU and Oregon, it's just hard to say. TCU is the only hope for the Big 12 making the playoff. TCU loses to Texas this Saturday. That might knock out them, and that might introduce a Tennessee team. A lot of people think Tennessee's going to make the playoff. However, if you got a 13-0 Georgia, a 13-0 Ohio State or Michigan, a 13-0 TCU, those three teams are in. So you got your SEC champion, your Big Ten champion, Big 12 champion, all undefeated. That's your 1, 2, and 3 spot. Now your 4 spot, you could have a 12-1 Clemson, a 12-1 Oregon, a 12-1 USC, a 12-1 UCLA, a 12-1 North Carolina. You can have that's really, and you look at all those. You look at those because you will have 2 1-loss, potentially 2 1-loss conference champions. And right now the highest ones is Oregon and TCU. So, right now the highest ones are Oregon and Clemson. So they're 7-9 or 6-9, 6-10, wherever they are. So you got them highest, 1-loss teams. Well, what happens? TCU loses, that opens the door up. TCU drops this week. That opens the door up. Me personally, I think Michigan can beat Ohio State. But Ohio State more likely will win. So, but right now that's just a slash. I got Michigan / Ohio State for that 2 spot. And then Georgia will probably play either Tennessee, Oregon, USC, or Clemson in the playoff. That's going to be the 4th team. One of them teams. As long as they win out, and it's just so hard to say. And it really is. It's hard to say, man. It's crazy because there's so many options, so many variables here. But yep, let's see what happens. Georgia obviously needs to win this Saturday to clinch the East. If Georgia doesn't win this Saturday, then Kentucky is a must-win game. And if Georgia loses that game, Georgia will not win the East, and that would be devastating. That would be the wild card right there. Tennessee would be a guaranteed playoff team because they would play LSU and LSU would lose, whatever. Tennessee beat them again. So, yep, we'll see what happens. A lot of football left, a lot of scenarios. It's Beast Bailey. Peace.